Hey, what's going on, guys? We should be starting up now. Hope you guys are having a good Monday. Um, Here to talk about the Monday Night Football Showdown site, obviously, here with Ravens and the Chiefs. This one should be super, super exciting. Two very high-powered offenses. We get to see Lamar Jackson. We get to see Patrick Mahomes. This could be one of the best NFL games all year long. So, really, really excited to talk about this. What's going on, guys? Hey, Mason. And we have a millionaire maker too. That just even makes me more excited. So I'll talk about this slate a couple different ways. Right, if you're playing like a cash game setting, if you're playing GPPs, are you trying to take first alone in a tournament like this in the millionaire maker? If you are, you're gonna have to get very very unique. Whether that be taking a shot on a super super cheap guy in the captain or leaving a bunch of salary on the table to differentiate yourself. But all right, so before we get into the player-by-player breakdown, if you guys did not watch the YouTube video that I uploaded yesterday, I can go over. First, we'll take a look at the Vegas odds and then the snap counts. Jake Anderson, $5 super chat. Hey, dude, been a while. Let's get it. It has. I hope you're doing good, man. I know you've been killing it in both NBA and NFL. So thank you for the super chat. Really, really do appreciate that, man. And hopefully we have a good night tonight. Someone said I'm taking a shot on Boyle. I think Boyle is playable. We'll get to him more in a bit, but someone said they're rolling with Edwards. Risky play, but playable. So thanks again, Jake. Really, really do appreciate you coming in and supporting the live streams. And hopefully, again, we have a good day, a good night tonight. So back to Chiefs Ravens again. 56 over under. So it went up. I believe it was at 55 last night. Ravens are 3-point favorites, but this has all the makings for a shootout. Yeah, not super interested in the defenses in this game. Doesn't mean they're out of play. It's just for a single entry guy like myself, not going to be the way that I go. All defense really needs is like one pick six or a block punt, something like that, and they're going to get you there. So, but that's more for multiple lineups. So if you're making one lineup, I don't think I would go with the defense on this one. But let's go over the snap counts really quick, and then we'll get to the players. So Ravens situation, running back at least, it's a little bit murky, right? Like Mark Ingram is their starting running back, but they will utilize J.K. Dobbins, the rookie from Ohio State. They will utilize Gus Edwards. So they have three running backs they will use. Now Gus Edwards got a little bit more work in this game because it was a blowout, but all three will get touches, and no one's going to get utilized a ton. The Ravens don't really like dumping it down to the running backs to the air. So like all three aren't going to pass or aren't going to catch a lot of passes, so it's a little bit tricky. But yeah, Ingram 42%, and then Edwards 31%, and Dobbins 31% in that last game. So it's a little bit tricky there with the Ravens and their running back situation. Wide receiver, it's three main guys here with Miles Boykin, with Marquise Hollywood Brown, and with Willie Snead. I think all three are in play here. Hollywood Brown is the most expensive guy. He does have the most upside, but Boykin, I think, is a really nice price point. Willie Snead maybe doesn't have the upside of the other two guys, but definitely is in play for his price, right? Duvernay did play a few snaps, but that's really nothing more than a dart throw on this one. So let's talk about the tight end situation again. A couple people mentioned Nick Boyle. He played 78% of snaps. He's not really out there for his pass catching ability. He is out there for blocking, but if he's going to play basically the whole game, there's definitely possibilities for him to get a couple catches. Really, all he needs is like 2 catches for like 15 yards, and that's almost value, right? If he falls in the end zone, that's all you need. So Boyle is actually playable here. Andrews is clearly their pass catching tight end, a guy with enormous upside. So yeah, both tight ends are in play. Obviously, Andrews looks better, but Boyle as a really really cheap option, I think, is doable on this slate. As far as the Chiefs and the running back situation, so Clyde Solaire, the rookie, is their clear first and second down back. Even a guy they will utilize through the air a bit too. They will utilize a bit of Darwin Thompson and Darrell Williams, but they are their price tags make them at least in play, right? What do we see? Jalen Richard for Oakland had like a kind of garbage touchdown. So it's not like these guys are out of play, but they're super super risky with regards to Thompson and Williams. But yeah, Clyde Solaire is a guy we'll talk about. I think he's certainly a pretty solid option, just because Chiefs starting running back is always valuable for DFS, it seems like. Wide receiver situation, Tyreek Hill is going to play most of the game. He's got the big play upside. And then you got Hardman, Robinson, Watkins all came in at about 60% of the snaps. I think the snaps probably go up a little bit for Sami Watkins, who's dealing with a little bit of injury, but he's going to be good to go for this one. And then Hardman, Robinson, I think are going to kind of fight for that third wide receiver role. But I think all of those guys will get decent time. So all four of the Kansas City receivers there are playable. Pringle to get 9% of the snaps, but he's not someone I'm considering on this one. Tight end situation for the Chiefs. Kelsey's going to play basically the whole game. I think he's a safe option, even though he's priced up. Kaiser did play a few snaps, but if I was going to take a shot on a cheap tight end, I would just go Boyle because he's going to play basically the whole game. But all right, let's talk about player-by-player breakdown here. Again, I mentioned in my video, if you guys didn't catch it, quarterbacks, cash games, you play both, right? Both Lamar, Patrick Mahomes have that upside on the ground. They're just dynamic players. Their ceiling is through the roof. So on these showdown slates for GPP winning lineups, I think it's like a stat of I think it's 75% of the time it's either a running back or wide receiver. But this is a slate I could see a quarterback and the captain winning it. Now, sure, right? They're both priced at a premium. $13K for Lamar, $12K for Mahomes. They're not cheap, but there is enough value that I think you can play them both in a cash game setting, and that's the way that I would go about it. So who do I prefer with Lamar or Mahomes? It's basically a coin flip for me, right? Lamar's probably going to do a little bit more on the ground. Mahomes is probably the slightly better passer. Both just have huge upside. Lamar, I guess, is in a slightly better matchup against the Chiefs defense, whereas the Ravens defense, I would say, is a little bit better than the Chiefs. So it is $1,000 difference. Again, it's almost a toss-up. If you made me pick, I'll go Lamar, but that's not a strong take. The direction that I'm going is I am playing both quarterbacks and then kind of figuring out the rest of my lineup from there, just because you don't have to. You don't have to play both, but that's what I'm doing. I think that's what a majority of people will do too, honestly. Like that's just because both quarterbacks have huge upside. Would I fade both? Absolutely not. I would play at least one no matter what. I don't see a winning lineup without either quarterback. So quarterbacks look really good. They're priced for premium, but for me, I'm gonna play both. Chiefs and their main targets of Kelsey Hill. Kelsey's always the guy that's a little bit have a higher floor in my opinion, whereas Tyreek Hill's the big play upside. 6 and 14 targets for Kelsey. Tyreek Hill, ton of targets too, right? 6 and 11. Both, Kelsey's slightly more expensive. Again, if you're going for that safety, it's probably Kelsey, even though he has upside too. But Tyreek Hill has, the ability to go for break a 30 fantasy point game or 40 fantasy point games. He has that huge play upside, the speedster, but like both targets, it's just, can you fit him in there, right? If you're playing both quarterbacks, it does make it a little bit tricky to get to Kelsey or Hill, unless you're playing someone cheap in the captain, which is a viable strategy we'll get to in a bit. The two main targets here for Baltimore, Hollywood Brown, Andrews. Marquise Hollywood-Brown, for his price, I think is going to be more of a contrarian option. I do feel a little bit more comfortable if I was spending up for a wide receiver tight end. I think I would feel better about Hill and Travis Kelsey, but that doesn't make Hollywood-Brown out of play. I just feel I like the prices a little bit better on a guy like Boykin, Willie Snead. So I think he's more of a contrarian option in this slate. Obviously not out of play. Another guy that has that big play upside. Mark Andrews is their clear, pass catching tight end. Had kind of an off week last week. Doesn't concern me a whole lot. 8K. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay a premium for him. But Lamar loves going to this guy. Obviously a red zone target. So with the top targets for both teams, I probably, even though Kelsey and Hill are a little bit more expensive, I probably do feel a little bit more comfortable getting to those guys. But doesn't make Marquise Brown or Andrews out of play. They're both viable on this slate. Clyde Solaire, I think, is a safe option at 7-8 just because he is the one running back that I feel comfortable will get a good amount of work. Again, the Ravens, three-headed monster. Chiefs, Clyde Solaire probably gets 60 to 70% of the snaps. He had 8 targets last game, 6 catches. This rookie does have upside, so I think he's kind of game flow independent. Like they'll utilize him either way. So 7.8K is a fair price too. Quarterbacks have the highest floor on these slates, followed by running backs. So if you're going for that cash game lineup just for the floor, you probably play both quarterbacks. Maybe you go with a guy like Clyde Solaire. Maybe you go with a kicker because kickers are safer for their prices too. So I think he's playable. Obviously, you can go look to him in GPPs too. The upside is there even at that price. Now Ingram at 6.8, I'm not super excited about it. Not saying he's out of play. It's just they're not going to utilize him a ton through the air, right? And they will have Dobbins, the rookie. They will utilize Gus Edwards a bit. So he's kind of touchdown dependent, in my opinion. Like Definitely possible, but I think you need at least one touchdown from Mark Ingram to get value here, unless he breaks like a long run kind of out of nowhere. Like 9 and 10 carries is not great. Like I said, he's not really going to catch a ton of passes either. So, and Lamar Jackson will keep himself a lot too. So, yeah, you can go anywhere on the slate, but Ingram for a single entry guy, I probably wouldn't do it. If you're making 10 lineups, sure, you can throw him in there one, but I'm not super excited about Mark Ingram today. I think he is. You really need a touchdown from him, which is not out of the realm of possibilities. But like I said, Dobbins, Gus Edwards, no guarantee he'll even get the goal line carry if they go down there. So that's the worry there with Ingram. Then they have the backup quarterbacks listed. Dobbins, the other running back, right? He is probably a slightly better pass catching running back. He's listed at 5.6K. These Ravens running backs are just tricky for me to really prioritize, right? They're certainly doable. If you're going to take a shot on one, that's fine. But just know, right, they're going to use 3 running backs here. So, and the Ravens don't like going to the running backs a ton through the air, which makes them risky, makes them, in my opinion, kind of touchdown dependent. So if you want to go to one of these Ravens running backs, that's fine. But I'm not really prioritizing any of them. Now, Sami Watkins was dealing with the injury, right? He's active, should be good to go. I think he'll get a good role, but he's someone that is so boom or bust. We saw it last year, he had the big week 1, and then it's downhill from there. Well, this year, big week 1, and then off day last week. So 5K is a playable price point, but Sami Watkins is super boom or bust. Again, playable on the slate though, just because I think he does get a good amount of snaps. Hardman, a lot of people are expecting a big year from him this year after the nice rookie year. Hasn't really shown it yet, but he does have that big play upside. Him and Robinson are kind of be fighting for that number 3 role for the Chiefs. I think both will still get a good amount of snaps. Like I would say both probably get at least 40 or 50% of the snaps. So definitely playable here. Hardman at 4.6. I think he does go a little bit lower owned. I think Boykin is going to be super popular as a cheap option. I feel the most comfortable with him. But Hardman is certainly someone that has that upside. Hasn't really flashed it yet, but we know it's there. We saw a couple of big games from him last year. Willie Snead, I don't think he's going to break the slate, but I think he's a safer option, right? He doesn't have the big play upside like Hollywood Brown or like Miles Boykin, but he's a guy that can get you 4 or 5 catches for like 40 yards, right? And a 4.4K makes him playable. Him, he got like 60% or so of the snaps, right? 63%. So yeah, it's not a play you're going to be like, oh, I'm super excited about playing Willie Snead, but he's someone that you can certainly look to on this slate. For value. The kickers are definitely playable here. I guess if you want to play both, you can, right? The 2 of the top kickers in the NFL, in Tucker and Buckner. These guys probably have upside to get to like 15 fantasy points. Like I said, there should be a ton of points scored in this game. So for the safety aspect, the kickers are probably the best value, right? So if you're playing that cash game setting, like I said, I think it's both quarterbacks. Maybe you go Clyde Solaire and then maybe a kicker. You can play both kickers too. Like I said, both kickers are really good. There should be a ton of points scored in this one. So I like both kickers in the slate. Could you play both in one lineup? Possible. But for like a GPP winning up lineup, maybe I would only go one kicker. But I do like the kickers here, Valley, especially in this slate. They look good, and they're again 2 of the top kickers in the NFL. I told you guys I'm not going with the defenses. If you're making a ton of lineups, sure. Right, there should be a ton of points scored in this one, but it's possible a defense gets a pick 6, and that's really all they need to get you there. So don't rule them out if you're making a ton of lineups, but for single entry, I'm not going to do it. Boykin, he's the guy I mentioned. I think he's going to be probably the most popular value play. I think it looks good. He's a guy that does have that big play upside. He should play, majority of the game. 3.4K is very fair. 4 and 5 targets is solid for Boykin. So I think he's a really solid value play. Is he a must play? No. And he's going to be popular. So if you're playing in large field tournaments and you want to get off a chalky value play, you can look elsewhere, right? There's other options. There's Hardman, Watkins, Robinson, right? Willie Snead. So you don't have to play him, but I think he looks like a good option, even though he will be very popular. DeMarcus Robinson's at 3K. Another piece there in the Chiefs wide receiver rotation. 6 and 4 targets. Him, Hardman, Robinson, or him, Hardman, and Sami Watkins are all in play here. And the Chiefs' offense is so dynamic that these guys are certainly viable. Week 1, he dropped 2 touchdowns, which was a little bit tilting because I had him in my showdown lineup. But another cheap option that is in play. There's a lot of cheap receivers that are playable on the slate. And then this is more towards the dart throw range here after Robinson, because we have Williams and Darwin Thompson. Both played, what was it, last week, 19 and 13% of the snaps. with Thompson getting a little bit more work. If I was going to play one of the cheap backs, I think I would just take the shot on Thompson over Williams for the discount and the fact that he played a little bit more, but I don't feel confident in that. Gus Edwards did have 10 carries last game. That game was kind of a blowout near the end, but they will still give this guy work. Even if the game stays close, he had 4 carries week 1. I think we'd probably get around 5 to 7 carries from him would be my best guess. 1.6K. All you need is a touchdown, right? So Gus Edwards is certainly someone you can consider here. He will get work no matter what here for the Ravens. And then finally, right, I mentioned Nick Boyle. I think he looks okay at $800. 3-1 target. It's not amazing, but he's going to play a majority of the game, right? He's more out there for his blocking abilities, but 78% of the snaps. And the Ravens do love going to their tight ends. So they will use 2 tight ends a lot. Obviously, again, Mark Andrews is the better tight end, pass-catching tight end, but don't rule out Nick Boyle. If you need salary relief, it's risky, but all he really needs is a couple catches to get you there. Pringle played a few snaps, but I'm not going to go there. You really need an injury there. Yeah, same thing with Duvernay, right? He played a few, but you really need something to happen to one of those other Baltimore receivers. Kaiser, I mean, he played 14% of the snaps. You can't feel confident about that. And that's really it for me. So that's it for the player-by-player breakdown. We'll talk about strategy now. So like I said, for a cash game build, guys, I think something like this, something like both quarterbacks, and maybe you go the running back Clyde Solaire because he's like the running back you feel the most comfortable with getting the most amount of work. And then I think one of the kickers, right? I think that's whichever kick you want to go. That's probably a cash game start to a build, right? You play those 4 guys. You don't have to play Clyde Solaire, but you know what I'm saying. You play both quarterbacks, and you probably play one of those kickers. For GPP lineup, obviously you can do a lot. If you are playing a quarterback in the captain spot, make sure you do get some correlation. Now, if you're playing Lamar Jackson, normally I say if you play quarterback in the captain spot, I try to get 2 of the receivers. But since Lamar will keep it himself a lot, I think you don't have to play 2. I think you could only play 1. Like you could definitely play more, but I would play at least 1 of the Baltimore receivers, whether it be Marquise Brown, Andrews, Boykin, Snead, right, or Boyle. So get some correlation. If you're playing Mahomes, I probably would go for 2 of his receivers just because he's a slightly better passer in my opinion. So if you're playing Mahomes in the captain spot, I would get some correlation, maybe like pair him with Kelsey or Hill or Watkins, right? There's a ton of targets you can pair him with, but make sure you do get some correlation if you play quarterback in the captain spot. And then, I do always mention this, if you want to go with a cheap guy in the captain spot, it's risky, but say, again, Miles Boykin is probably the most popular play here. If you throw him in the captain spot, that's 9K remaining. You can plug both quarterbacks in, and then you can probably get at least 1 more of these main guys in there. So that is always a build. Again, it is a little bit risky, but certainly viable in a site like this. Sure, you can even consider a kicker, right? I think the kickers, you can at least play one in the captain spot. It's like they have upside to go for 15. They're 2 of the top kickers, so do not rule out the kickers. I do like the kickers a lot for value. And that's really it for me. So we got about 10 minutes until lock. We have currently 157 viewers in here. If you guys enjoy the content, we really appreciate it. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. But yeah, let's get to some questions here, guys. Hit me up in the comment section. I will try to get to all the questions. Kelsey, tough to fade. Shredded Ravens, both last 2 meetings. I think, again, Kelsey is the safe spend up wide receiver tight end for Kansas City, right? Because Hill, more the boomer bust guy, and then the other receivers are all playable, but nobody can really feel amazing about with Watkins, Hardman, Robinson. Lamar captain with Mahomes, Kelsey, Boykin, Boyle, and Tucker. Yeah, that's almost the identical build that I have, Alex. So I like that. You're taking a shot on Boyle. I am as well. I'm also playing a kicker. And I'm playing a quarterback in the captain spot. That's the direction that I'm going. I faded Kelsey. It was hard to do. I don't think Kelsey's a must play. I don't. He's expensive. You're gonna have to sacrifice a good amount to get him in there. Patrick Queen reported to cover Kelsey the most tonight. Doesn't worry me a whole lot. I just don't feel comfortable having Ingram. Like I said, one line, single entry. I don't think I would play any of the Ravens running backs. Maybe Edwards for his price, but if you're making a ton of lineups, yes, right. Ingram can get a touchdown. Dobbins, all they need is a touchdown, but they are kind of touchdown dependent. And since they do utilize 3 running backs, it makes them riskier. I think I'm going to watch Edwards Scissorhands small takedown from one of us. Hope so, man. Is it a mistake running Boykin and Snead? No, I think you can play both. Both were out there a majority of the game last time out, right? The both should get good work. Snead played 63%, Boykin 74%. So Yeah, Boykin's going to be a lot more popular, but I think both, you can play both if you want to. Hardman or Snead, that's a tough one. I think Hardman has more upside. If you're shooting for that upside, it's probably Hardman. I guess Snead, would be the slightly safer option. Probably will get some more snaps and will run like the shorter route. So upside Hardman, safety Snead, I guess. Who are the cheap upside guys? Well, I think I have Miles Boykin, right? He's going to be popular. Boykin for sure. And then there are the other wide receivers, right? So you can look to guys like McCole Hardman has the big play upside. Sami Watkins. I don't necessarily know about Willie Snead, Demarcus Robinson. So there are other options down here you can take shots on, but Boykin is going to be the most popular of those guys. You going for the Millie? I mean, I'm playing in it. I'm not getting super contrarian. I'm playing a quarterback in the captain. I'm not leaving a ton of salary on the table. So I'm playing in it, but I'm not going to try to take it down solo. If I was, I would probably leave at least like a couple $1,000s on the table to really differentiate myself. Cash lineup I'm throwing out there is Captain Lamar, then Boykin, CEH, Mahomes, Robinson, Tucker. I think that looks pretty solid. I guess it's Gus season for me. Yeah, Gus Edwards is playable, right? I think we probably get 5 to 7 carries from him, somewhere around there. In game one for the Ravens, I think he still got a decent amount of snaps, right? So that was week 2. Let's go to week 1. I'm just curious how many snaps he got. So he played on 25%, right? So the plan is to still give him work no matter what of the game script. So yeah, 1.6K. He's definitely playable as a cheaper option. Lamar, Mahomes, Tucker, Robinson, CH, and Boykin looks good. Robinson to go. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Is Watkins going to have limited? No, I don't think so. I think Watkins is good to go. Watkins or Willie Snead? Probably would go Watkins there. Let's see. I have Buckner over Watkins. More fancy points tonight, opinion. Well, I think Buckner is safer. The kickers are safer. Sami Watkins probably does have a little bit more upside, but he's really boom or bust. So, again, safety, kicker. If you're going risky, Sami Watkins. But let's see. I do really like the kickers tonight. I do. Robinson or Boyle. Robinson probably has a little bit more upside, right? So if you're shooting for the upside, I would go Robinson either way between those two, right? Boyle's just a guy for salary relief. So I think I'll go Robinson either way. Hill, captain. Matthews, Boykin, Buckner, Clyde Solaire, Mahomes. Wait, so you're playing... Oh, Tyreek Hill. Okay, yeah. I think that's fine. Y'all should try the monkey knife. Okay, let's see. Tyreek Hill. McCole Hardman or Boyle? Yeah, it's Hardman there. I don't want to make sure. Let's see. Done to play Mahomes. No Chiefs wide receivers. If you're playing in the captain, yes. If you're playing him in the flex, I don't necessarily think you have to. Because Mahomes is a guy that can keep it himself, can get like a touchdown on the ground. So is it absolutely necessary to play at least one receiver with Mahomes? No. But the safe build is probably to get one of his targets in there with Mahomes. Watkins or Willie Snead. Again, it's probably Watkins for me. Hill, let's see, is Clyde a must play? No, he's not. He is the running back I feel the most comfortable with, just because again, the Ravens use 3 guys. Clyde Solaire probably gets 60 to 70-ish% of the targets, so it would utilize either way. So he's the running back I feel the most comfortable with. Good luck, guys. Willie Snead, let's see. Okay. What do you think about Lamar captain? Yeah, I like Lamar captain. I'm playing quarterback and captain. I like both, obviously, Lamar and Mahomes. That's not a contrarian take at all. Both going to be super popular. I don't necessarily think you have to play both, but I think the safe option is to do so. I'm rolling Lamar, captain Mahomes, Hill, Tucker, Buckner, and Duvernay is a sleeper. So you're taking a super big risk, but he did get, what was it, like 10% of the snaps last time for the Ravens. Maybe it goes up a bit, 9%. Again, it's a super big risk, but you're getting into playing him. So Tucker, Boykin, and Robinson. Let's see. Robinson is who I wanted if Watkins was out or limited, but doesn't look like he's limited. Yeah, I think Sammy's gonna be good to go. I haven't seen anything about him being limited. Other lineup, let's see. Captain Lamar, Boykin, Boyle, Kelsey, Mahomes, and Tucker looks good. Play both kickers. I think you can. I think for like a cash game setting, I think you could play both kickers. Because both kickers are really good, and this is a game that should be a ton of points scored. So maybe you go both quarterbacks and both kickers for cash. Is Watkins snaps going to be limited? No, I think he's going to be good to go. I haven't seen anything. I did Twitter search. I haven't seen anything about him being limited. Besides Lamar, Mahomes, and CH, who else a captain or MVP? Well, if you're going for a cheap option, maybe a guy like Boykin, or you take a shot on one of those other Chiefs receivers, right? If you're going for the upside. So let's see. Guess or Lamar captain ownership. Oh, guess on Lamar captain ownership? I think he needs to be popular captain. On this slate, I don't know, maybe 30% Lamar the captain. Let's see. Lamar's going to be like 20% captain. Yeah, maybe 20. I guess in the higher end. I don't know. We'll see. Now, Robinson will have a super tough matchup on the outside. Let's see. Will Hill and Watkins will move around everywhere. Okay, yep. Captain Clyde. Okay. Flex Lamar, Hill, Boyle, Mahomes, Robinson. What do you think? I think it looks good. Who should be the captain to generate most points? I mean, it's tough to say. Right? The quarterbacks are the safest. So safety quarterbacks, the upside, you have a guy like Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill probably has the most upside of anyone on the slate. Are also Marquise Brown, right? Both those guys have the big play upside. If you're shooting just for that upside alone, it's Hill, it's Hollywood Brown, safety quarterbacks. Most likely 2-touchdown game, Kelsey or Andrews. That's a tough one. I'll say Kelsey just because he does play more snaps still, even though Mark Andrews' snaps have gone up this year. I still feel a little bit more comfortable with Kelsey, but both are in play, and obviously Andrews is a discount to Kelsey. Going Gus, Lamar, Mahomes, Hill, Kelsey, Boykin. Yep, so you're taking the shot on captain Gus Edwards. I'm fine with it, right? It's super, super risky, but if you just get the touchdown, you're golden, because then you have Lamar, Mahomes, Hill, Kelsey, Boykin. Like, all you need is for Gus to get in the end zone. I have Rams Chiefs expectations for this game. Yeah, it should be a really good one. Hopefully, I hope there's a ton of points going this. And what percentage or bankroll do you try to use for each game? I'm about 30%. Not sure how high to go. Of your bankroll for like the showdown slates, I don't play a ton on the showdown slates really, because they're super, super high variance. I save a majority of my bankroll for the main slate. So these are kind of more for fun for me. I know a lot of people do take these seriously and do make like a ton of lineups, but it's just too high variance for me to risk a ton of money on. Unless I feel like super, super confident. Like if I feel really, really good about a showdown slate, sometimes I will throw in a little bit more money, like even at NBA slates or NFL slates. But they're just so high variance that it's kind of there's a lot of luck involved, I should say. Captain Mahomes, Andrews, Buckner, Clyde, Hill, Robinson, good with it. Is putting Clyde Solaire on the top a dumb move? No. I think Clyde Solaire is certainly playable in the captain, right? Because he's a guy that, we were a little bit worried the first game because he didn't get you guys a ton through the air. But then 6 catches, 8 targets. So, and he's still playing 60 to 70% of the snaps. I know the matchup isn't amazing against Baltimore. It doesn't really worry me a whole lot just because he's going to be out there a good amount of the game. He's a guy that has shown the upside both on the ground and through the air. The price is fair at 7-8, so I don't think that's a dumb move at all. I do think he's a pretty good play and my favorite running back play, even though it's, again, not a really contrarian take. There's definitely game scripts where Cash or CH goes off. Yeah, and again, if you're making one lineup, build the lineup with how you think the game plans out. There's always a possibility that one team gets off to an early lead and then maybe works the running game a bit more. So maybe if you think the Ravens go up 2 touchdowns, then Ingram, Dobbins, Gus Edwards look better, right? Because I think they do look to the running backs more in that situation. Or opposite side, right? The Chiefs. So you think the Chiefs play from ahead. I think Clyde Solaire gets more work on the ground. So I feel confident in the showdown sites with terrible teams like last week. You're in luck for Thursday's game, right? It's Broncos-Jets. So that one should be ugly. Do more of these pre-lock live streams, DK? Definitely. Yeah, 100%. I like doing the showdown sites. Should you ever use defense as captain? You can. It's possible, right? All you really need is a defensive touchdown. But I look to, if I'm going to play defense in the captain, I'm going to go with an uglier game, like the Thursday night game, potentially, right, with Broncos versus Jets. There, I think the defense in the captain looks a lot more viable with 2 offenses that really struggle. In this game, with 2 dynamic offenses, it's probably not for me. Now, again, is it possible that a defense in the captain spot wins it? It's always possible, right? Probably would need a couple touchdowns, like a couple pick sixes, but it's viable. But nothing I can recommend with confidence in single entry. Captain Mahomes, Boykin, Kelsey, Ingram, Hill, Chiefs defense. Again, I'm not super excited about the defenses, but I get it. I certainly get it. Keep up, man. You're available. Ask for info daily. Hey, appreciate that. Thank you. We're closing in, guys. 1 minute until lock. Again, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, guys. Daily videos every single day. NBA Showdown video for the finals week or game 1 on Wednesday. I already have that up. I'm gonna have an early look video for week 4 up right after this, so be on the lookout for that. Yeah, thanks, Evan. Yeah, be sure to like the video. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, we're at lock, so let's go over some ownership. I think you usually will take about a minute or so for this ownership to come in. We'll go over ownership, and then I'll get out of here. So, will there any more Sunday streams with CJ? Enjoyed it yesterday. Yeah, I think that could definitely be something like a weekly stream. I think it went pretty well, too. It was a longer live stream, but I definitely think that is in the cards. Do you only do K, never FanDuel, just a preference? I used to play FanDuel. FanDuel, actually, when I first started playing a daily fantasy sports, it was FanDuel for me. But I switched to DraftKings once there was no late swap for FanDuel, but now there is late swap. So I don't hate playing on FanDuel, but I like the lineup construction better for DraftKings with, like, on the main slates with at least for NBA, the utility. I just like the build a little bit better on DraftKings than I do FanDuel. I ain't nobody on Duvany. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, he's probably, like 1% owned, right? Thanks as always, EK. These Monday Night Football streams make my noon midnight work shifts more bearable. Hey, well, hope the shift goes good, man. Hope you win some money today. NBA Finals will be fun. Yes, I'm excited for that one. But yeah, let's go over some ownership here. I can show you guys my lineup for this slate. So, I want Lamar in the captain spot with Mahomes, Kelsey. I played Buckner as my kicker, Miles Boykin. I took the shot at Nick Boyle, 18%. So, yeah, Boykin, 39%. I'm not super surprised about that. Boyle at 18%. I get it, right? He's probably someone dirt cheap that looked the best. Buckner, 25%. Kelsey, 43%. Both quarterbacks super popular with Lamar at 86%, Mahomes at 71% owned. I'm curious to see what we got for some other ownership here. Tyreek Hill coming in at 26%. The Ravens D, 7%. This is in the big tournament at least. Terrell Williams, 7%. That guy had the same lineup as me. While Boykin and Hill, sub 30% for me in GPP. Yeah, that's not bad. Clyde Solaire, 52% owned. I'm not super surprised about it just because, again, running backs have the highest floor. Boykin, yeah, we already went over that. Hollywood Brown coming in at 22%. He's got that big play upside. Don't hate that. That ownership at least. Trying to find some other ownership. Sami Watkins, 27%. Duvany, 0.5%. Okay. All right, well, I think I'm going to get out here again, guys. Not super surprised with some of this ownership. Quarterback super popular. CEH, 50% owned. Gus the Bus. Billy Maker Dovey, 6.5%. Oh, really? He's 6.5% there. Captain Ingram, Lamar, Kelsey, Brown, Hardman, Boykin. Again, don't hate it. My issue with the Ravens running backs is that just they will utilize three backs, and they are a little bit touchdown dependent with how they're not utilized a whole lot through the air. Gus 1.2%, 1.9% at captain. Hey, it's you're living and dying with Gus Edwards, right? As long as you just need a touchdown there and you're golden, because the rest of your lineup looks great. But I'm going to get out here, guys. Good luck tonight. Hope you guys all have a good day. And I'm going to go watch this Monday night game. Lamar already at the 40-yard run. Hey, I'll take it. Yeah, good luck, guys. Hope you all win some money, and I will see you all later.